Not long ago, William Provine, a professor at Cornell University, issued the following statement. Quote, "Let me summarize my views loudly and clearly. There are no gods. There are no purposes. There are no goal-directed forces of any kind. There's no life after death. When I die, I am absolutely certain that's going to be the end of me. There's no ultimate foundation for ethics. There's no ultimate meaning to life, and there's no free will for human beings either." Now, it would be easy to dismiss Provine's statement as the expressions of a cogity old Ivy League professor that's 3,000 miles from here, and at one point we can say, why should we here at Calvary Chapel this morning care what Provine thinks? Unfortunately, Provine represents the tip of a growing iceberg in the United States, because we live in a culture that month by month is becoming increasingly secular. And about 4 or 5 years ago, there was a new thing that happened, and namely, there was an emergence of a group of thinkers called the New Atheists. Now, what makes the New Atheists different from the old atheists is not their arguments. They're pretty much the same. What makes this something of concern is that the New Atheists are well organized and they are aggressive. They have set it as a goal to stomp out any supernatural religion in the United States, to rid our schools, which are already largely rid of any reference to a supreme being, but to rid the culture of supernatural kind of religion and to make those of us who believe in a supernatural God to look dumb and ignorant and bigoted. That's the objective. And they're well organized. There are internet infidels and others that are a part of this movement. And it is an intentional thing that's being spread increasingly rapidly across America, especially among a number of the educated elite. Now, don't think that America can't go secular. God has no vested interest in this country. He loves the country's institutions because they, by and large, were founded within the framework of Christian worldview. But God doesn't love the United States any more than He loves Nigeria or any other country. He loves the whole world equally. And you need to understand that Europe has gone secular. 50, 60 years ago, the church was still reasonably vibrant in Europe, especially in Great Britain. Today, less than 10% of the people attend any kind of church service in Great Britain, and the culture is overwhelmingly secular in Europe. This could happen to the United States. Now, how do I think things are going? Well, it's still too early to tell. I've had a chance to lecture on 200 college campuses in the last 40 years, and in hundreds of churches in about 40 to 45 states. So I have some sort of a feel for what's out there. And there are signs that are encouraging to me and signs that are discouraging. So I would just say at this point, the jury's out. I don't know where the culture's gonna head, but I do know this. It's fundamentally, the future of the health of Christianity in America is fundamentally going to depend upon the local church and whether believers are able to defend their faith. I do know this. And this is not a value that we hold. We do value worship, and rightly so. We value studying the Scriptures, and rightly so. We value giving to the poor, confessing sin, having good, solid families. These are all values that we hold. But we tend to be an intellectually lazy people. And we tend not to value the life of the mind or knowing why we believe what we believe. A recent study was done by the Navigators that work with university students, and they discovered that a substantial portion of young people who are in our youth groups in our evangelical churches, when they go to secular colleges, lose their faith. And they tried to find out, why is this evaporating? In fact, I was talking to some people after the first service who have experienced their grandchildren going off to university and abandoning the Christian religion. And they asked, why is this happening? And the fundamental thing the Navigators discovered is that in our youth groups, we're really good at telling people what to believe, but not why to believe it.